The individual was armed with a shotgun and a possession of a gasoline canister. Agents and the deputy discharged their firearms to stop the threat. At this time, no law enforcement personnel were injured during the incident. We want to be clear, the President of the United States was not in the state of Florida. And this remains an active investigation by the FBI.
Good morning. I'm Peter Ducey in Washington. This is the Sunday briefing. We are following breaking news this morning. The U.S. Secret Service shot and killed an armed man who unlawfully entered the perimeter at Mar-a-Lago early this morning, at 1:30 this morning. The Associated Press is out with some new details right now. They have named, and we have confirmed the name of the suspect, 21-year-old Austin Tucker Martin. According to the Associated Press in this bulletin that just crossed, he was reported missing by his family a few days ago. Investigators believe he headed south and picked up a shotgun along the way, and they think that because they found a box for the shotgun in his car. The FBI is right now asking people that live near Mar-a-Lago to check their doorbell cameras, check any cameras that they have in their yards, so they can figure out exactly how this guy got into the area. But it is now believed, according to the AP, that he might have piggybacked behind a vehicle entering Mar-a-Lago lawfully when the gate opened. For more on this right now, let's go to Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson. He is at the White House where President Trump was while this all unfolded overnight. Lucas.
Good morning, Peter. President Trump was at the White House this weekend. He was not in Palm Beach where this incident occurred, and the Secret Service says they were assisted by Palm Beach County deputies who assisted in shooting the suspect, as you mentioned, named 21-year-old Austin Martin of North Carolina. And that press conference just wrapped up in Palm Beach. It was pretty lengthy. Here are some more details, Peter.
At 1:30 this morning, the security detail detected that an individual had made his way into the inner perimeter of Mar-a-Lago. A deputy and two Secret Service agents on the detail went to that area to investigate. They confronted a white male that was carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop those two pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the two Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat. He is deceased at the scene.
Here's a map showing the north gate of the Mar-a-Lago compound, the winter White House, if you will, a place President Trump visits often during the winter months. The president had been spending the weekend here at the White House where he hosted governors from across the country. And here's a photo the deputy showed showing the shotgun and the gas can used by Austin, again, 21 years old from North Carolina, who was shot and killed when he threatened officers by assuming that shooting position and after he was asked to drop the items. Now, we're told that no Secret Service officers or the Palm Beach County deputies officers were hurt during this incident. The FBI is joining in the investigation. It's worth noting, Peter, that the Secret Service did this one on the House because DHS isn't being funded right now during this partial government shutdown.
And Lucas, to your point about the DHS funding, the first White House reaction just came in from Caroline Leavitt. She has posted, in the middle of the night while most Americans were asleep, the United States Secret Service acted quickly and decisively to neutralize a crazy person armed with a gun and a gas canister who intruded President Trump's home. Federal law enforcement are working 24/7 to keep our country safe and protect all Americans. It's shameful and reckless that Democrats have chosen to shut down their department. Something else, Lucas, you mentioned that the FBI is the lead on this. More breaking reaction. The FBI Director, Kash Patel, in full screen 16, if we could pull that up in control. FBI is dedicating all necessary resources in the investigation of this morning's incident at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago, where an armed individual was shot and killed after unlawfully entering the perimeter. We will continue working closely with Secret Service as well as our state and federal partners, and we'll provide updates as we are able. Lucas, from where you sit at the White House, I know that for people watching who aren't familiar with the layout there, when there's a big world event, typically the security posture will be beefed up a little bit. They might close an extra street. There might be some extra guys. Sometimes the guys that are normally there have bigger guns than usual. Have you noticed anything on campus that seems different than it would be on a normal day when there is not somebody at Mar-a-Lago with a shotgun and a gas canister?
Well, Peter, when I got here this morning, the first thing I noticed was just the tone of the Secret Service. And there's a lot more earnest today. It was very serious when I passed through.
Okay.
Had tried to ask about the incident, and it was a very muted response, as you can imagine. And everyone here just seems a lot more focused. As far as security goes, looking around, don't see a whole lot more visible. Pennsylvania Avenue, of course, has been closed for years, and there were some extra guards posted. But overall, it does feel like business as usual. Of course, the job of protecting the president, it's always very heightened, as you well know, Peter.
All right, Lucas, we will be back to you with any breaking details throughout the hour. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.